5:35, and this is the Ward 3 Neighborhood Advisory Board. I will start with attendance and then we'll get started. Let's see. So, Ilya Ardman.
I'm here.
Present. Jennifer Simeo.
Present.
Are you unmuted?
I am. Can you hear me?
Lost sound from you.
Can you hear me?
Can you put in the chat that you're present? We have IT coming down, so he'll fix this, but just in the meantime, just have a record of that. And then Ryan Smith.
Present. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it looks like we can't hear them,
Oh,
right?
yeah, and we're having trouble hearing you, but just put that in the chat. And like I said, we are having ITs on their way here in a moment to fix some of these things. So we'll just keep moving. And Alexander Woodard is not present at this time. So we do have a quorum, and this Ward 3 Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting is called to order. I'll turn it over to Ilya.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess we'll just do chat, voting, et cetera, for the time being, right, Amy?
Yeah,
So
for
we
the
can hear
time
them.
being.
Okay,
Hopefully this
cool.
will just be a moment.
Okay, well, I can't see from here if there's anyone in the Zoom. Might be the only.
See, I can ask, if anyone would like to make public comment from Zoom, you raise your hand and we will try our best to accommodate that. Okay, and then we might actually.
Looks like we have one up there, right?
We do
Amy?
have one, yes.
But how are we gonna do that?
Yes, that is a good point. I'm thinking that maybe we will
Should we move that to a little bit later?
to start with a few other items, and then we can return to public comment once our sound is coming through on Zoom, or we can have those people online type their comments, but that might be not accessible for everybody. So
Yeah, let's just, maybe if anyone has public comment, just stand by for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll kind of go through, do some of these things, and then maybe we can see if by the time we get to item B, we can ask again. Does that make sense, Amy?
yes, let's give that a try.
Okay, so yeah, let's just go to A3, approval of the agenda for today, from May 3rd, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, looks like Ryan said yes.
Ryan says motion to approve, and Jennifer has seconded.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. I'm just watching the chat with bated breath up here. Good. So A3 motion passes. We'll approve the minutes from April 5th, which I have here in my agenda. If you guys got one, you should have the notes back there. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
Ryan Smith motions to approve. Jennifer
You
Simeo
have a
votes.
second?
motions to
Okay.
second it.
All in favor to approve the minutes? Aye.
Smith and Jennifer Simeo have both said yes.
Perfect. Okay, so Oscar, we want to move on to our council report. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hey,
they can
great
hear
seeing
us.
everybody on Zoom. Really good to see you as always. Thank you guys for giving me the time and energy to hear me out a little bit. First, before I even start, I'm excited that for B1 Clean and Safe team is here, and Tony and Cynthia are amazing. And hopefully you guys are able to listen to them and support all the great causes that they're doing and providing for our community and services. All stars, we're lucky to have them to be part of our team at the city of Reno. Secondly, I just want to invite everybody to swing, if you haven't already, down to the great bookstore out at the roundabout on Wells. Eli can hopefully share a little bit more with the community about that amazing bookstore in support of our women here in our community empowerment opportunity. And hopefully I'll be there later this month to do that grand opening with you. Just quick few updates. Paradise Park, we have that community center right up on the hill. If you guys don't know, or if you do know, I'm sure you guys know, as a NAB 3 ward. We're going to shut it down here shortly because we're redoing the roof. It's an opportunity. Again, it's safe, very impactful, very energetic community center for our seniors. As many of you know, the Reno Housing Authority, right there off of El Rancho, is probably one of the most dense senior communities in the entire city of Reno. And they utilize that senior community center on Paradise Park as one of their safe areas and one of their activity areas that the city of Reno facilitates and serves for our community. And so right now they're closing it down. They're doing a redo. It's going to be amazing for them. And so I'll make sure, Amy, if you could please take note to invite all the NAB members once it's open to come on down for the grand opening and to cut the ribbon, because it's going to be amazing for them. Secondly, Cyan Park, as many of you know, is a brand new park that opened not much more than a year ago. And it's been probably one of the most celebrated and most used parks in South Reno for so many families. If you haven't gone, please go down and check it out. It's worth the drive down if you don't live in that area. 2 dog parks, a splash pad, a great playground, flat fields and everything. It also has a pickleball court. But one thing that we recognize is in a former flood area that things tend to settle a little bit. And so the pickleball court didn't have the rebar as it needed, so they're going to redo it. So that's going to be shut down. So if you guys hear from the community about why that's closed down, is because we're going to redo it and redo it right. And so it's the community's going to be excited about it, and we just got to do it right. And the community's been informed. So if you hear from any constituents as to why it's been closed down, is because we got to go back and redo it. Lessons learned from down in South Reno. The other one is, as many of you know, Broadhead Park here in downtown Reno has served the community for as long as I can remember, but was also one of the first designated areas to be the place for one of the Portland Loos, in which I was very supportive of saying that's, of course, raise my hand and volunteer. Let's do it. Let's do it right, because it serves a great purpose, and it's also a great architectural innovative piece to serve our most than anything our homeless, right? We've also raised our hand and said, let's volunteer Champion Park, which is also in Ward 3. And so that's also going to receive a Portland Loo that's going to be supported by the One Truckee Meadows and also the Tumwa. And so that's going to be going into place here shortly. Also, it's going to be off the Truckee River path, and to provide our community as they kind of traverse on the Truckee River, but also just for our homeless and anyone else that wants to utilize it, which I think is a great thing. Secondly, and on a few other points, last council meeting, I was fortunate and lucky enough to donate $10,000 to the Latino Alumni Chapter at UNR. And this is in order to support a brand new endowment for scholarships for Latino students that are at UNR to further their education. It's going to kick off an opportunity to hopefully continuously provide support and opportunities for folks in our communities to receive a higher education. So I'm very excited about that. And I was very blessed that the council was able to support my outreach in order to provide that for the Latino Alumni Chapter at UNR. Another one is I was also able to support the Wells Merchants Association. If you're not a member already, for those that are listening, please consider joining the Wells Merchants Association. They're strong advocates for all the small businesses and local businesses on Wells to make sure that they're successful in all their endeavors, to whether they're changing out banners on Wells or they're able to print out maps or to support each other. I was able to kick out a few dollars out to them to support their treasury hunt that's going to happen here shortly, to hopefully support other businesses so people are able to venture in and see all the excitement and great creative, innovative things that businesses are doing on Wells. I'm also working with the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. It's no question, it's no secret that we have communities that surround the airport, whether they're in Mariloma or Neil Road, that are directly impacted by sometimes these the flights that come in and out of the airport. But I'm also working closely with them to make sure that they don't see us as an afterthought, but they actually see us as a partner, because whether it's impactful in a positive or negative way, but we want to make sure it's positive. And so the Reno Tahoe Airport is working closely with Amy and all of us to make sure that we are more closely aligned. And what that means, hopefully I'll be able to present to you guys here later this summer. I hope it comes through as a support for our local parks, or find ways and how they support our local schools. And and we see that stronger partnership than what has existed in the past. Lastly, if you don't know already, May is Senior Older American Month. on our website. Please consider going to our website. Let all your friends and community members know the city of Reno and all of our council members, including myself, will be doing special events throughout the month to support our seniors. Whether it's going out and doing some exercises with them, doing yoga, buying ice cream, doing some special, spending time, quality time with our seniors in our communities. They're treasures. We should treat them as treasures and sit down and listen to them and all the great advocacy that they've done, and also all the wisdom. So my hope is that you guys will consider joining one of us at one of the events that we have online. And with that, I'll close up. My apologies for speaking too much. I'll let you guys get off to your work, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
Oscar, how's our sound there, Amy?
I would actually like us to see if we can test it. Ryan, are you able to come off mute and say something?
Yeah, can you hear me right now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yay.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Hi, Jennifer.
Yay.
All right. So, yeah, I guess if you have
Yeah,
questions.
any questions for Oscar, Ryan, or Jennifer?
No, I love that that scholarship that you put together for the community. I think that provides so many amazing opportunities for people.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that.
And what was that park that you mentioned, Oscar, the second one?
Which one?
The one in South Reno?
Cyan Park.
Cyan Park.
Cyan
Gotcha.
Park, a beautiful park. Again, 2 dog parks, a splash pad for the kids, a great playground for the toddlers to the little grown kids, basketball courts, pickleball courts, and flat fields. It's been a destination now for many families down south, in addition to just across the city. It's right off of Veterans Parkway. But if you haven't had a chance to swing by and take a look, it was something that it's very proudful for me, because it was something that was created and designed by the community. Same thing for Pat Baker Park. When we went out and redid Pat Baker, I mean, we completely redid Pat Baker, but it was making sure that we heard the community in terms of what they wanted to see. And so again, it was built and designed by the community in many different ways. And so if you have a chance, go to Cyan, and if you look past and drive by past Pat Baker, those are the kids that actually drew the park, and that's what we see in front of them. That's why it's utilized the way it is so heavily. So go down and check it out.
Cool. Thank you, Oscar.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great night. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Amy, do you want to do the staff report, or do you want to try to go to back public comment, see if anybody has anything to say?
Well, for the staff report, I don't have anything additional to add tonight, unless anyone has any questions for me. And then I think we can go back to public comment.
Yeah, so we did see one hand earlier for public comment. Let's open it up for a couple of minutes. Looks like there's a hand now. So we'll hear some public comment. I can't read the name from here. Oh, Iris. Go ahead.
Here we go. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know how to turn my camera on, but I guess that's okay. Iris Jaley Papard, Executive Director of One Truckee River, and thank you, Councilmember Delgado, for the update on the Portland Loo project. And I'm here today to announce and welcome and invite everybody to two community input meetings that we're going to be putting on in the month of May to get people's thoughts and ideas about improving the river corridor from Broadhead to John Champion Park, including those parks. So the first one is May 15th at Imbibe, which is 785 East 2nd Street. And it's going to be from 1 to 3. And then the second event or community meeting is going to be May 28th at John Champion Park, same time, 1 to 3. So we're going to have a short presentation, and then we're going to have different stations asking people different questions to get their input on that overall topic. And that's it. Thank you.
Any other public comment, either here in chambers, or go ahead and raise your hand if you're on the Zoom. And we'll have some more public comment at the end of the meeting, but for now we can move on to B1, and let's hear Antonio and Cynthia's report from Clean and Safe and Cares. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. I'm just going to wait for the slides.
We are putting the slides up now, and hopefully we'll have the video working.
biohazard part of it, I mean, I'm the program assistant to the
This drone designed to save lives mysteriously disappeared. There's a tiny US drone
assistant to the city manager's office and try to help
While
these
we
people
wait for that, the
to
video
get back.
itself, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Mavericks here, Ward 3 NAB. My name is Cynthia and I'm with the city manager's office. I'm a senior management analyst overseeing our clean and safe team. This will be a joint presentation. I am joined by Antonio Gilmore, who is our community outreach program coordinator. Video does not work. I could send it to the board as well.
We can access the video just on YouTube too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like the video is working. We don't have any sound in chamber, so I don't know if anyone has sound at home.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Righty. Okay. Well, Clean and Safe program. Let's get started. The Clean and Safe program itself operates under the umbrella of the city manager's office, but is comprised of departments throughout the city of Reno. I believe right now we're up to 10 departments that work collaboratively with us. And our mission statement that was developed by the team and in partnership with one of our outreach contract groups that we work with, RISE. The mission statement itself is improving equitable access to public space through a collaborative approach to outreach with our unsheltered neighbors, community health, and public safety. I will share that when the program itself was established in 2019, we were operating as a pilot program. We really didn't have all the resources that we do today. And over time, the program has evolved and grown and become outreach centric. A couple program highlights to share with the team. In December of 2019, that is when the program itself was approved by the Reno City Council to address the ongoing public health and safety emergency along the Truckee River. Of course, we had a pandemic shortly thereafter, and we paused our operations. In 2020, in December, we closed the year with a new partnership with the Karma Box Project, and they created an additional arm for our team that focused on outreach. This is an ongoing partnership with the Karma Box Project. Antonio Gilmore will touch on what outreach looks like today. From May to September of 2021, a big focus for the team was the Truckee River operation, which addressed the Truckee River in an effort to restore the corridor's natural habitat. In September of 2020, we also established a partnership with the Downtown Reno Partnership, and that partnership itself entails an additional downtown ambassador that works with our downtown core and our parks in the area, providing additional resources. The Downtown Reno Partnership has social coordinators that are familiar with resources in our community. So that's been really instrumental in helping our residents in the downtown area. And in March of 2020, we entered into a partnership with the Reno Initiative for Shelter and Equality. This is a 16-month peer-to-peer engagement outreach team that is working day-to-day with our clean and safe team, specifically Antonio. What we have encountered as the program evolved, there's been countless outreach done. There are a significant number of service-resistant individuals that we cannot engage with at the same level as someone who has that peer-to-peer engagement lived experience piece. So this is the most recent addition to our team that has been instrumental in connecting individuals to services. With that, I will pass this on over to Antonio Gilmore, and then I'll be back up at some point.
Hello, everyone. My name is Antonio Gilmore, and I am the Community Outreach Program Coordinator for the Clean and Safe team. Let me go to the next one. So one of our focuses is community health and safety. The unsheltered population is our main focus, so we try hard to make sure that they stay safe. For example, in the picture on the left, that's some camps that were underneath the Veteran Parkway on the east side of town. And this was the day after it had rained really hard, and we knew that these culverts were going to get flooded. So what we did is that we went around town and to every culvert around town and let them know that it was coming. And if they wanted help, we could transport them to the shelter or to our place, CARES campus. So we were just offering, services and basically introducing ourselves to all of these the unsheltered folks. And the picture on the right is that, obviously on Commercial Road, the huge fire going on. Luckily, it got stopped pretty quickly. But I remember I was standing right there and, propane tanks were going off. I mean, it could have been really bad and it could have spread throughout the whole camp. So, we try to we're out there trying to help them and trying to see how we can get them off the streets. Luckily that happened during the day, because if that would have happened at night, who knows what could have happened. We could have lost some lives. We actually did lose a dog in that fire. So, this is why we do what we do, to try to help prevent this from happening again. Let's see. Next one. So another thing we focus on is, public spaces, as Cynthia mentioned earlier. We want to make all of these spaces equitable for everybody. What we do is we go around and make sure we keep them clean and safe. And with the parks in particular, we got to keep the kids in mind. That's like one of my things. Is I got a daughter, and I want to make sure she can go to these places. I'm sure there's families all around town that want to do the same thing. So here, on the left is a before picture of Fisherman's One Park, and on the right is the after picture. So in 2021, our waste collection increased drastically. It was 185 increase from 2020 to 2021, and that was in large part due to the Truckee River operation. We did 229 cleanups, and we cleared up 10,088 cubic yards of waste. And just so you could get a picture of what that looks like, it would be that's Mackey Stadium, and that's 5 feet 6 inches tall worth of trash covering the entire field. That's how much trash we collected last year. And then, so what we've done is that we've made outreach like our key component to what we do, so that we can prevent and reduce the amount of trash that we collect. And so, yeah, we do our own outreach, but then we also partner with agencies such as RISE, Karma Box, the Volunteers of America, VA. I work with Ilya, I work with Jessica. I partner with everybody to try to help reduce the unsheltered population in our community. The picture on the left is actually a pretty cool one, because the gentleman there, his name is Wayne Brock, and he was actually living on North Edison. I found him in just a huge pile of this, debris. And I got him going, and then I didn't see him for a while, and then I saw him again at the GSR path, and he was there, and I connected with him, and then that same day I went to the office, and somebody said, "Hey, do you know anybody that wants to get into Reno Works?" And I was like, I got the perfect person. So I went right back to Wayne. I told him about it. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm interested." And I helped him apply, took the application, and then he got called for an interview. He got the job. So that's him, doing the work. And then to make it even sweeter, ironically, today he called me and he said, hey man, I got a place. He was like, can you help me move into my place today? So we helped him out with that. The guy in the middle, he was somebody that was at Fisherman 2. And basically we got him connected to his mom in Las Vegas, and that's his mom coming to pick him up. And she took him down, and he actually reached out to me too as well, like 2 weeks ago. And he said that he's working and hasn't done drugs, and not, you know, he was just like, he was like, I just called to just say thank you for for pushing me and not stopping. Like you now I got my life together. So that's that story. And then on the right, that's me with Josh from Community Court. And then, you know, we go around town every Thursday from noon to 4, and we go around town telling everybody about Community Court for the following week, so that they can, you know, get resources, because basically a community court is all the resources in one location. They don't have to go anywhere. It's all there. And so we recommend that. And then it kind of leads into this video. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio. Guess we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Or we could just,
We could drop a link to the video in the chat too, or something like that, right?
yeah, there you go.
If people can watch it.
It's a short video, but it just kind of shows a little bit of what we did.
Want us to, we can play it and you can talk over it if you want, just kind of explaining. No?
Sure, I'll freestyle it.
Yeah, you want to freestyle it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So basically, this is us doing outreach over, I was in the Tumwa area. And right here, this is me actually, this is one of the, when I first started the job, this is the first gentleman that I got housed. It was like literally like my first month into the job, got him into Village at Sage. And he's been there ever since, and he loves it. And here, obviously, this is the debris. This is what across from Fish One looked like. You know, it's just me getting ready to do some outreach. Now this was the day that he actually moved into his spot. And that was a pretty cool feeling. But what was cool about that is that once I got him housed, then people started, you know, people started asking me like, hey, can you help me out too? Like the word started spreading that I could help people get off the streets. And so that just became like, that's why that became the top priority of what I did. And then I guess we have one more slide. There we go. So as Cynthia mentioned earlier, one of the things that we've done is we've partnered with a bunch of community partners in town. For example, you know, Karma Box, Rise, VOA, Community Court, and we've been going out on a daily basis doing outreach. And here's some of the stats from, you know, when we were doing outreach last year. And when we got 55 people, you know, off the streets, we helped 65 people get their IDs and social security cards, connected 4 people to employment, and helped 4 people get, well, ourselves, we got 4 people connected with their family. And, you know, having these groups added to what we do, it makes the job so much easier. I mean, you know, we're just trying to find different solutions to get, you know, people going and off the streets. And that's it.
I have like 2 more slides. Sorry. Just to provide a quick overview, and Antonio really has helped transform our team. We're incredibly lucky to have him at the city of Reno. He works with all our departments, and the team as a whole. We are in constant contact, problem solving and providing resources and doing what we can to help facilitate a transportation to a shelter, an application for rental assistance, a different type of transitional facility. I did want to spend a couple minutes just talking about our outreach and best practices training. So what we know is that we are always learning. The way we did something a year ago may not be the best approach right now. There may be best practices and new ideas coming forth. So what we have done as a team is we're constantly getting information, talking to experts, and seeing how we can improve our operations. So best practices is key. This is a picture of one of the trainings we had internally with our team. This is when we were onboarding our park ambassadors. Something else we recently conducted is a Clean and Safe 101 training for our City of Reno staff. We know we have our team that may interact with individuals on a daily basis, but we also have crews in, say, public works, parks, who may not be familiar with best practices or how to approach someone, or even what resources exist. So we held a one-on-one training for internal City of Reno staff. 2 weeks ago, we had John DeCarmine, who is the director of Gray Shelter in Florida. He has a wealth of information, and he communicated with us just best practices that he has implemented at his facility. He oversees a shelter, but he also oversees outreach. So that happened a couple of weeks ago. And last but not least, as our community evolves, we want to ensure that we are building and maintaining relationships and also learning about new programs in our community. So something that we have implemented as a team is visiting sites. So the team recently visited the Safe Camp. We have a tour of the Eddy House on our schedule for this month, along with a few other tours in the future. So we had a staff meeting this morning, and we're brainstorming other facilities we want to visit to just make sure we all have the same information and are familiar with resources in our community. The CARES campus, I did want to provide a couple updates for you all. The CARES campus itself opened in May of 2021 with 604 beds. The project itself was in collaboration with the city of Reno, of course, the city of Sparks, and Washoe County. In September, actually, I think these might be a little, no, actually, it's right. September of 2021, shelter services and operations transferred from the city of Reno to Washoe County. So what this means is Washoe County is the contact for all shelter operations and services related to the CARES campus and the Safe Camp as well. And then in June of 2021, they also opened the Safe Camp at the CARES campus, which are now, they initially opened the Safe Camp with tents, and they've transitioned them into mod pods, which are almost like little tiny homes. Yeah. A couple notes that I gathered from the last presentation from the county to the Community Homelessness Advisory Board. As of April 4th, 2022, there were 77 staff at the campus with Volunteers of America. Washoe County at that point had 7 staff with 25 vacancies. I put an asterisk next to vacancies because that week that the Community Homelessness Advisory Board was meeting, their staff members shared that they were in the process of doing reference checks and job offers for 17 case managers. So by this point, I'm certain that number is definitely higher from Washoe County, and the case managers will be working, I believe, on site as well. So that's the piece that I wanted to highlight there. Construction will be beginning soon. Washoe County is making adjustments to the campus itself. Community partnerships is also something that they have implemented. So should members of the community seek to volunteer on campus, they are able to do so by contacting the email address that you see at the bottom. And then the next Community Homelessness Advisory Board is scheduled for June 6th. At every meeting, the county has provided updates on the CARES campus itself. But if there are any questions that you have specific to something related to the campus, you could certainly contact Regional Homeless Services at washoecounty.gov. Thank you so much.
Guys, yeah, I definitely do have a couple questions. Really appreciate you guys coming here and presenting to us. But first, let me see, Ryan and Jennifer, do you guys have any questions for Cynthia or Antonio?
This is Ryan Smith. I do have a question. If there are people in our area that want to get involved with your organization and volunteer, is the best way to get in contact with you through that email address?
Address provided is with it's Washoe County's email address for CARES campus related inquiries, Safe Camp, and or volunteer opportunities. So if you are interested in volunteering with the CARES campus, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to that email address. They established a system recently where organizations can enter into a memo of understanding to partner with the campus. And from what I recall, that includes the Eddie House, the VA, and actually the Clean and Safe team in our housing department also has that agreement with the campus, as there may be times where we need to visit or help someone move, or also recruit individuals that want to partake in programs we have.
And thank you both. It's such wonderful work that you're doing for the city and for people. So thank you for doing that hard work.
This is
Thank
Amy
you.
Pennington for the record. Just to clarify, if someone wanted to, is there any opportunity to volunteer with the city with Clean and Safe and that sort of thing, or just primarily with the county?
I would say if there's a specific interest with Clean and Safe, you could certainly reach out to our team. I can't say we have had a lot of interest from the community to volunteer with our team. We primarily hear from nonprofits that want to do outreach with us as well. But we're definitely open.
This is Jennifer Simeo for the record. I just want to thank you guys for the work that you do. It's so wonderful. Sometimes it just takes one person to turn someone's life around. So that's wonderful that you can sometimes be that person. I did have a question about the community court that you had mentioned. Where is that located? And how do people find out about it? Is it just word of mouth?
And yeah, pretty much. It's on Center Street at the library, and it goes on Wednesdays from 9 to 12. And it's, like I said, it's pretty much all the resources in one location. And if you want to send somebody, let them know that they have donuts and coffee and bad jokes.
Bad jokes is always good. Thank you.
I have one quick question just for to start. How many people are on the Clean and Safe team currently?
Oh, I would need to count everyone at this point, but I could get that back to you.
Okay.
So when our Clean and Safe team was established, it was a group of people. But now we really have an outreach team. We have our operations team, then we have our bigger team. So it definitely changes based on the topic. But yeah, I'll have to get that number back to you.
Well, for now, how many people doing outreach?
So outreach, we have for our outreach team, it's Antonio that's doing the coordination. We have Russell Keys, Rise has staff as well. So that's 4. Karma Box, we partner with them every day. And we also have, we were very fortunate to have a community outreach worker from Join Together Northern Nevada working with us. It's a 1-year grant funded position, and she is working with Clean and Safe every week. So that is an additional resource we have. I would also like to highlight that as needed, the MOST team with the Reno Police Department is also available if there's a crisis as well.
Can I mention, I just wanted to also mention that the park rangers, they work very closely with us, and they've actually helped a couple of people get back home, just doing what they do and just by being with us. So they've been a good addition to the team as well.
Part of the reason why I ask is, from some, personal experience and from, working with Antonio, it's a lot of work. And I can see by the statistics, it really, takes a lot of work to even get one person help, just getting their ID or whatever, that can take like half of a day. So part of the reason I'm asking is I'm curious if there is, aside from the partnership with RISE, which I know just began, but if there's any plan to expand the clean and safe team to hire more outreach people, that seems to be an effective part of the model at this point. But if it's just mostly Antonio and Russell, that seems like a lot of work for just kind of 2 or 3 people to do. So is there a plan to expand it?
At this point, we don't have a plan to expand the number of City of Reno staff. I think the partnership with RISE is critical to the work we're doing, along with our partnership with Karma Box. I also mentioned the Park Ambassador program that we established in the downtown core. What I did not mention is that the Downtown Reno partnership is also part of our team. So they're a constant resource for us as well. But yeah, we could always use more help. Any department could, any program could, for sure.
And another question, sort of also asking, for anyone in the community who's watching or listening too, it seems like one of the key to outreach programs like this being kind of successful is that they provide sort of a first encounter with, say, someone living on the street that's markedly different from the encounter they would have, say, with law enforcement. So what's the process right now kind of on the back end? I know there's the Reno Direct line that people can call, right? But how does that work as far as if a community member sees somebody, right, that they may identify as someone that needs help, or if they have a different attitude, they may identify as someone that they want to get rid of, from their block or whatever. What normally happens as far as if somebody calls the city or the police, is there a way that Clean and Safe kind of gets alerted that, oh, this isn't actually a law enforcement call, this is a Clean and Safe call?
Right. So if I could just jump in on this, we restructured how we receive information. We utilize Reno Direct as our primary point of contact to submit any concern related to homelessness. And that could be, it could be, one shoe does not fit all. Every service request is different. So what we do on our team, we get a daily report of all the service requests coming in. I know Antonio and Russell get live reports as a service request comes in. We filter it out to the corresponding department. So based on the needs, that's how the next steps are taken. So we're definitely, outreach is part of everything we're doing and providing that help. RISE again has been critical in terms of providing additional assistance for individuals that Antonio, with his work and dedication and willingness to connect with people, that's a skill set that I definitely don't have. He is very convincing. He perhaps has not been able to connect with someone. RISE steps in at that point as well. So I wish there were a uniform or just a quick process, but everything is so unique that we need to adjust as needed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was also, asking as far as, I think, probably a lot of people that live in Reno aren't aware of the Clean and Safe team, if they live in this area, they maybe are. And I think it's, just something for, the greater community to know about as far as, a lot of people, don't have a lot of encounters with people living on the street beyond just kind of walking down the street and seeing someone. So I think knowing about the Clean and Safe team is, these are the people you should be getting in touch with, because regardless of what the person might need, right? Like I'd say most of the time that outreach call, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, is a better point of contact than necessarily law enforcement right away, right? So as far as what if, you know, if one of us or a NAB member is talking to someone, should they say, oh, call Reno Direct if you have a concern like that?
Correct. And we've worked with dispatch. If, say, the non-emergency line gets a phone call for something related to homelessness, if there is not an emergency at that moment that needs to be addressed, those phone calls are directed to Reno Direct. So if there is an emergency, of course, law enforcement will take the lead if there's a fire, if there's a weapon, if someone's in harm's way at that moment. But if it's something that outreach could handle, then outreach receives those via Reno Direct.
And just final question for Antonio too, as far as, you kind of talked about a lot of personal stories, kind of helping people. Same thing, kind of just, as a NAB member, just for people to hear, I'd love to hear kind of what's your, in briefly, how would you tell the community kind of about the work that you do, and maybe what do you feel like people don't maybe understand about working with people living on the street, and especially as far as what does outreach actually, what does it actually mean? Like, what does it look like? Because sometimes it can sound very rosy, like, oh, we got someone into housing. Sometimes it can sound quite the opposite, like we tried to help this person and this horrible thing happened. But yeah, what does it look like kind of on a day-to-day basis as far as like what you're doing, and what would you, what kind of do you wish people would know sort of about your job in a way that would help them understand sort of what the city goes through every day?
I mean, we deal with, various people throughout the day. I mean, from each extreme, the people that just don't want any kind of help, and then the people that do want the help. And I mean, eventually I kind of get to the ones that don't want the help too. Like just recently, I don't know if you know the guy that was always on Keystone and Fourth, playing his guitar with the dog. We just got him off the streets, like it took a long time. And so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. With some people it does. But I mean, every situation is different, and I listen to them. And the main thing that everybody tells me all the time is like, you're the first person that treats me like a human being. And that's what connects. That's why I have such success with what I do, is because I do treat everybody just like I'm talking to you, I treat them the exact same way. I don't treat them any different. And so they see that and they appreciate that. And but it's hard. I mean, that's just a skill that I have, because I've been doing this for such a long time. And some days it's challenging. Some days I don't come across those people. Some days I come across everybody that's screaming and yelling at me. And I mean, I deal with that too, but eventually I feel like I'm gonna get to that person as well. So I just don't give up. And I mean, that's what I do.
Thank you. Yeah, we could obviously keep talking about it, but we have some other agenda items to move to. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the presentation. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see you guys soon.
And Elliot, thank you to you too, man, because you're out there hustling and helping us out too. And I appreciate what you do. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yes. Who's that? Oh. Okay, so yeah, let's move on to B2. Right, yeah. This is the Maverick station at 2nd and Kitsky. I'm not sure if someone's here for that presentation or if they're on Zoom.
I believe it is Richard Pickett in the Zoom.
Cool. We see you up there, Richard. Let's see if we got your audio.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Yes, we can.
Sweet. And let's see if I can see me. You get to see me in my house. So that's the fun part of, the new adventures that we live on, is that we can actually do these things over Zoom now. One thing I'd like to do is if I could share my screen. So we're going to try that option now. And I think there we go. So first of all, I'd like to show our appreciation to everybody that volunteers their time with the Neighborhood Advisory Board. I think it's great when people get involved in their community, and as we heard from the first presentation, really get involved in the community with all the advantages we can give to those that serve in those capacities. So it's great to see those things happen in communities. What we're currently proposing is a Mavericks fuel center and convenience store. It's going to be located on the northwest of 2nd Street and Kitski Lane there in Reno. One thing about us is we feel like we're building one of the coolest convenience experiences on the planet. We currently are in 11 states, and we've just recently expanded into California. So we'll start to see a few more of our centers open up into the California market. One thing about Maverick is we operate over 355 stores in those 12 states. As I said, we added California. Maverick employs over about 5,000 people, with people that are eligible for health benefits, long and short-term disability, tuition reimbursement, and scholarships. This store we're proposing on the corner of 2nd and Kitski would probably house about 15 to 20 employees with different varying shifts. We train our employees in 40 different aspects of the job. So they vary from alcohol sales, management, service, identification, safety. We make sure that our operators are very knowledgeable about our processes and our products. Our stores kind of feature a mountain theme, which is actually, I'm sure some of you have been to some of our stores there locally, because we have a few Maverick stores located in the Reno area. But currently our outside of our buildings and our field canopies coincide with our convenience stores. These kind of give out the mountain theme or the adventure theme with steel truss beams, glass storefronts, fiber cement boards, and metal roof elements that kind of give it that kind of more rugged appearance. As I stated before, the fuel canopies themselves kind of blend in with the actual mountain theme of the convenience stores themselves. Interior wise, and I'm not sure how many of the stores in the Reno market have our latest branding efforts, but what we try to do is incorporate some of the scenic areas within the region where the product is. This particular store is a store up in Idaho, where we were able to catch one of the mountain lakes up there. Also some of the falls that are located within the state. We really try to open up the stores lately with putting the sales racks a little bit further apart. Part of this kind of is experienced through COVID. Part of it is just giving the customer the best experience they can have within our stores. One thing we really pride ourselves on Maverick is keeping them well clean, well kept, and safe for people to allow them to visit our stores and make sure they feel like they can even bring their children to the stores and use the restrooms when they're traveling, and try to keep those as clean as possible so they have a nice, clean, fun, and safe environment while they're visiting our stores. We really focus on the environment. We use state-of-the-art tanks and linings for those underground fuel tanks. In addition, we have the latest and greatest in leak detection to make sure that those gas or fuel, it does not leak into the neighboring groundwater or into the ground itself. We really pride ourselves on keeping up to date on the latest technologies with our fuel systems. Landscaping, of course, will be very important to us at this store as we decorate the corner of 2nd and Kitski, as we know that it's kind of not so much a gateway into town, but it is off a freeway interchange where a lot of traffic goes and visits that neighbor to us to the west, which includes a hospital. And we know the care that they'll need and receive there. Safety wise, we like to have large pane glass windows as our clerks are able to look out onto the gas facility so that we can make sure that we have a safe proceedings going on outside the store. In addition, we use lighting to control the aspects of the site itself so that we keep the areas that are necessary bright, but yet not allow that to spill over into the neighboring parcels or into the city streets so that we can impact any traffic. One thing we noticed when we have our stores in the area. The transparency lowers criminal activity. In addition, we install 24 or more security cameras around the facility, inside and exterior wise, so that we can make sure that the site itself is secure, in addition to our employees having a safe place to work. Kind of go over what our site looks like. As you can see, we've oriented the building close to the corner of East 2nd Street and Kitski. This is couple twofold. Is this is found out to be the best way to place the building on the site, and to keep a good flow for our fuel canopy, to make sure that they're able to travel safely from East 2nd Street up to 2nd and Kitski, or vice versa. One thing we've doing for this project is we're looking for a conditional use permit in addition to a major deviation for the site. The conditional use is based on our use of a fuel system for fueling of vehicles. We are permitted use for the convenience store, but not for the selling of fuel. So that is the reason why we have come before you, in addition to going before the city for our conditional use hearing, is to allow that conditional use of fuel sales to become a permitted use. In addition, we're looking for a major deviation from the latest land development code for the city of Reno. And what that entails is a FAR requirement. That's a floor to area ratio. The current use of this site is for an adult site. I'll leave it at that. It's a small building, approximately about 2,200 square feet. With our building, we're going to double that floor area ratio to kind of meet that requirement for the area. So we're doubling the size of the building. In addition, we're adding a canopy that will also provide further floor to area ratio for the site. So we feel like we're adding to the existing use by expanding the facility with our store and canopy over what is currently being used on the site. In addition to that, we're looking for a deviation on the exterior for glazing. As you can see, this is what our proposed store use for this site. One thing we're looking to do is provide to meet the glazing requirement. It'll be a little less than it was approved by the code, but as you can see, we have the storefront on front of the building, a glass entrance on the side of the building, and then on the rear of the elevation, we are looking to, as requested by the planning department, we're looking to provide a better elevation as it faces towards the corner of 2nd and Kitski. So we've added a window glass mullion that's faux glass, in addition to some signage over there. In addition, we kind of raised the elevation of our building canopy from, this is typically where the roof line is, so we raised it up to give it this a more significant look on that corner of 2nd and Kitski. On the site, we'll be installing 2 of these pylon signs, one on Kitski, one on 2nd Street, to advertise for our store, and also a fuel reader so people know the pricing as they're coming up to the store. And then lastly, just the elevation of the fuel canopy itself. It embodies our Maverick logo, in addition to the mountain theme, and our catchphrase, of course, "Adventures First Stop," which is one of the parts I like about Maverick. Is I do really think it's a great place to fuel up both the car and the kids in the back seat with before we go on our adventures for the day. Lastly, just the color palette, which is our signature colors, with the bright red, the dark bronze colors, when the hardy boards, which is a mixture of a bunch of gray variants, in addition to our ledgestone. We are really excited about this site. We think it's a particularly great site for us and also for the city of Reno. We think it can serve the community very well in this little location, given respite for those that are at the hospital nearby. In addition, it's a 24-hour service, so it provides a nice security for the area with well-lit areas that doesn't impact the neighbors, but also gives a sense of security for the neighborhood. And as I said, there'll always be an attendant here at the store, so there's always somebody watching the area for our clients and for our employees as well. That is all I have to really share. Is there anybody that has any questions they'd like to ask? And I'm free to answer any of those.
Jennifer, any questions?
Jennifer Simeo for the record. Thank you for the presentation. Just wondering what is happening with the current business? Is it out of business or?
As far as I understand it, it is still in business. As we're going through this process for the conditional use hearing, they are still active since we're not able to do some things that help prepare us for our building in the future. This has been a long process for us as we've been trying to get this site approved. But it is my understanding, and as when I was out there visiting a month ago, the business was still up and running. I think it's Susie's is what the name of the store is currently.
All right, Ryan, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but thank you for the presentation, Richard.
No problem.
Thanks, Richard. Especially if the gas will be 388 there. That would be great.
Wouldn't that be great? I wish we could hold it to what the pricing was last year or whenever this was taken.
All right, thanks, Richard.
Ilya, can I just say, this is Amy Pennington for the record. I just want to note that I put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to fill out a project review form. And there's also the name and number for the project there. So anyone from the Neighborhood Advisory Board or from the public is welcome to fill out a form.
Great, thanks, Richard. We'll move on to next item, the B2.2, the LDS Church Security Fence at Neil and Filbert. And is that presenter online?
We're online to present for that. Can you please raise your hand?
Raising.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, hi Amy, thanks for promoting me. I am not the presenter. I'm Joey Winter from the Department of Development Services. Ilya, Jennifer, and Ryan, thanks so much for allowing me to drop in here. So I don't believe that the applicant is here, but I can certainly fill you all in just in general on what this project is. It's the LDS Church at this location on Neil Road. What happened essentially is that they want to build a 6-foot fence for security purposes to secure their property. They're actually in a residential zoning district. And because of that, they're limited by the zoning code to 4 feet in the front yard. There's a mechanism in the zoning code called a major deviation, where if it's a quantifiable standard like 4 feet is, then you can increase that by up to 50%. So 50% of 4 feet would be a 6-foot tall fence. That's what this applicant is asking for, just around their property. And it will go to Planning Commission on May 18th. Same thing, I don't think it was mentioned on the last project, but the Maverick will be in front of Planning Commission for a public hearing on May 18th. So I hope that gives you a little bit of background on the project.
Now, if there was a presentation,
I don't. So the planner who is handling this is Miss Leah Brock, and she is at a conference like half our staff is. So I couldn't coordinate with her to see if the applicant was going to show up. But the applicant will be listed on all the notices that go out, as well as staff, and certainly any comments can be directed that way.
questions about that, Jennifer, Ryan? I think we'll move on, and yeah, for whatever reason they show up, we'll see them. Okay, so for our last development project here, B2.3, the Mill Street drive-through coffee kiosk. Looks like the presenter's here, so we'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. My name is Ken Murphy. I'm with Murphy Built Engineering, and I'm here with the property owner, Jerry Hansen, who's a local dentist and small business owner and has done several small development projects around the city. Just a brief overview of the project. 1640 Mill Street had a car wash built on it in 2005 by the property owner, Jerry Hansen. And the car wash closed down approximately 2 years ago. And our proposal is to take the car wash and renovate the site into a coffee kiosk. Currently, we do not have an end user, but we are talking to several of the bigger coffee shops like Starbucks and others. But since we don't have an end user, we don't have final elevations for the site. The end user will determine, properties or cladding materials, colors, and so forth. But what we're doing is, what we're proposing is to demolish the car wash site and incorporate the vacant parcel to the east of 1640 Mill Street, and combine those two parcels to make one parcel and one project. The kiosk will mainly be serving cars, vehicle, and pedestrians. So we won't really have an in-store restaurant style for customers. Again, it will just be for vehicle services and for pedestrians. This will allow us to be able to do nice pedestrian amenities outside. Our vision is to have a patio with several tables and other pedestrian amenities, more landscaping around the site. There are, since it's adjacent to residents, there's the residential adjacency standards that we have to adhere to, and there are drive-through standards that we have to adhere to. We've gone through those standards with staff, and there isn't any standard that we cannot achieve. There, everything. There's a few situations where we'll have to do enhanced development to mitigate some of the potential problems, but everything can be managed through the development code. With that, we're here for any questions if you have any.
Yeah, and this is Ilya for the record. One question that just comes to mind is, have you done a traffic study as far as what the traffic impacts will be there?
We are looking at an access study, and that's part of the planning department's requirements, and engineering department have asked for that access study. So yes, we're in progress of doing that, but we do not have a finalized study yet.
Jennifer, Ryan, any questions?
Yeah, this is Ryan Smith. I had a question. Did you say it's a drive-through coffee, like is that what you mean by a coffee kiosk?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
This is Jennifer Simeo for the record. Just more of a comment. I agree with Ilya that a traffic study would be probably pretty warranted. That's kind of my commute. A commute I take a lot, and there's a lot of traffic right there, especially between like 3 and 6 on the weekdays. So thank you.
Yeah, and we've been involved with this property since 2005, and we're aware, because of the proximity to Mill Street and Kixley Lane intersection, there is a lot of traffic there. And one of the things that we talked to engineering about is limiting the western access to an entrance only, and then the eastern one to an exit only, to help mitigate some of those access potential problems. But yes, we've been there for several years and know very well of the traffic.
Just to clarify too, this is Ilya for the record. Does the way a project like this work for you guys is you kind of prepare the site, and then you see if like a Dutch Brothers or a Hungry Bean or whatever they're called, they kind of then operate it as the business?
Correct. Yeah. So we will not be involved with, serving coffee and that, but we'll be involved with developing the property. And again, the owner has, he's talked to a couple different companies who do this for a living, and they're interested in it. But as of right now, we don't have any contract with anyone. So, and that makes it kind of hard, because we do have the footprint of the site, But again, to do the elevations, because each company has their own little signature and style that they'll put on the building.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that does it for our development projects here. I don't think we have any other reports or announcements, right, as far as we know, Amy. So we'll move on to item D here. Jennifer, Ryan, anything else for future agendas?
No, this is Ryan Smith. No, nothing for future agendas from me.
This is Jennifer Simeo for the record. I wonder if we could, and I don't know who this would come from, but the street racing that goes on that is quite noisy, like around the McCarran and Veterans Parkway area. I wonder if there would be any update, maybe from Reno Police or anything on that.
Get that? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and actually, one thing I'll just say is always available to you as NAB members. If there's, so our RPD, we typically try to have them come once a quarter, just so that we're not taking up too much of their time, but they can give us pertinent updates. If there are things that come up in between NAB meetings that you have questions that are specific to RPD, you can email them to me at penningtona@reno.gov, and I can get those over to our RPD liaison so that when they come for their updates, they can be sure to be hitting on any items of interest for the NAB. So that's just kind of an ongoing thing that I just want to make sure everyone's aware of, so that when they come, their updates are as beneficial as possible to this group as well.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, I'll write down the street racing. But yeah, if other things come up in the meantime, feel free to shoot them my way and I will make sure that our RPD representative, right now we have Lieutenant Peterson. He's a newer assigned cop to our NAB. So we'll be meeting him if you haven't met him yet soon.
Amy, one thing I know I said I didn't have any upcoming agenda items, but one thing I just thought of in this area is kind of the uptick in tagging and graffiti. You know, I've noticed it quite a bit around the Vassar Yori area. So that would be something, I guess, like what the community is doing about the uptick in tagging.
All right.
Yeah, and this is Ilya for the record. As far as quarterly updates too, Amy, would be great. If we could get, maybe quarterly or however often they can swing it, update from Clean and Safe and Cares. You know, I think that was a very informative and well put together presentation. So quarterly or twice a year, or whatever we can do, I think would be great.
And this is Jennifer Simeo for the record. One more thing. With the federal infrastructure money, is it possible to get an update on if we're getting any of that funding, if we're going to be seeing maybe new EV charging stations, repairs to roads, bridges, stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm writing that down as a note. I don't know the timeline on when something like that will be available, but when there is information, I'm sure we can get an update.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy.
And Ilya Arbitman for the record one more time. I'm remembering something I think maybe had talked to Oscar about too, as far as getting more NAB members. Just curious if there's an update or what kind of, if there's been any movement on that front.
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit of social media outreach to try and just spread the word that we're looking. And I actually have not checked our applications since our last kind of social media blitz. So maybe there's some applications in there. I'll need to take a look this week and see if we got any more applicants. But yes, we are trying to do some more active outreach to the community. So as part of the community yourself, feel free to tell your friends, and family, whoever, your coworkers to apply. It would be great to see this be a full board here in the next few months.
Yeah, after our last meeting, I just randomly, I watched some of the other NAB meetings or part of them, you know, and our NAB is a little sad compared, I think, to some of the other ones. So yeah, it would be great. Yeah, and I'll do what I can too, but you know, I think that it's, I don't know if it's the biggest ward population wise, but it's certainly a big ward. So there's no reason why we shouldn't have some more people up here.
Yeah.
That, let's see if I'm not sure. Yeah, it's hard to see from here who's in the chat, but we do have one more period for public comment. If anyone wants to make any comments, go ahead and raise your hand. So do we have a motion to adjourn from the NAB?
This is Jennifer Simeo. I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
This is Ryan Smith. I will second Jennifer's motion.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. We'll see you all next month.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.